They told you to fear carbs after 60. That bread is the enemy. That rice is a guilty pleasure. But what if I told you the exact opposite might be true? In fact, some of the world's longest living people eat more carbs than you think, and they're outliving their doctors. Not with supplements, not with strict diets, but with humble foods that fuel the body, protect the brain, and keep the heart ticking into their 90s and beyond. So before you cut another potato or skip another bowl of rice, stay with me. Because the secret to aging well may be sitting quietly in your pantry. In Okinawa, Japan, the average senior eats over 70% of their calories from carbohydrates. Not protein powders. Not supplement cocktails. Carbs. Bright orange sweet potatoes. Purple yams. Bowls of rice. They don't count grams or weigh portions. Yet their rates of heart disease, dementia, and diabetes are among the lowest in the world. And they're not the exception. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, elders start their day with corn tortillas and black beans. In Ikaria, Greece, bread is sacred. In Sardinia, pasta is a way of life. These regions, known as blue zones, are home to some of the healthiest and longest living people on the planet. And their diets are overwhelmingly built around one thing: whole, slow-burning, natural carbohydrates. Now here's the twist: these people aren't just living long. They're living well. They walk, garden, dance, and remember names into their 90s. They don't skip carbs. They skip the processed junk. And that difference matters more than you might think. Because not all carbs are created equal. While ultra-processed carbs, white breads, sugary cereals, and crackers spike blood sugar and fuel inflammation, whole food carbs do the opposite. They provide steady energy, feed the good bacteria in your gut, and help regulate your blood pressure. And in older adults, that means more energy, better memory, and even protection against muscle loss. Yes, muscle loss. Researchers from Spain's Carlos III Health Institute found that seniors who ate more fiber-rich carbohydrates, like lentils, oats, and root vegetables, maintained more lean body mass than those who followed high-protein, low-carb diets. Why? Because complex carbs aren't just fuel. They're information. They tell your cells to reduce inflammation, stabilize hormones, and feed your mitochondria, the power plants of your body. But that's not what we're told. In most Western cultures, carbs get blamed for everything: weight gain, brain fog, even aging. So what do seniors do? They cut carbs, boost protein, and load up on supplements. But many end up feeling worse. Tired, constipated, mentally foggy. Why? Because your brain runs on glucose. And when you starve it of clean, steady carbs, it doesn't thank you, it fights back. I had a patient, 73, retired accountant, who gave up rice, bread, and fruit after watching a documentary about sugar. He replaced it all with protein shakes and beef jerky. Within weeks, he was sluggish, dizzy, and couldn't sleep through the night. His doctor thought it was blood pressure meds. It wasn't. It was carb deprivation. Once we reintroduced sweet potatoes, barley, and fruit, the change was almost instant. His energy returned. His digestion improved. His brain fog lifted. No supplements, just food. So let's be clear, the right carbs in the right form can be the best anti-aging medicine on your plate. They're not your enemy, they're your allies. And the next section will show you exactly which carbs to eat to help you live longer, move better, and think sharper. Let's start with the one most seniors were told to avoid: sweet potatoes. Not the marshmallow-covered casserole from Thanksgiving, the real deal. Baked, roasted, or steamed. In Okinawa, the elders who live well into their 90s and 100s eat purple and orange sweet potatoes almost every day. They're rich in complex carbohydrates, yes, but more importantly, they're packed with antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins, which have been shown to protect the brain from age-related decline. Sweet potatoes stabilize blood sugar, provide slow-releasing energy, and feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. That gut-brain connection matters more than you think. A balanced microbiome keeps inflammation down, which supports clearer thinking, better sleep, and more stable moods. Seniors who add just one serving of sweet potato per day have shown better memory scores and lower blood pressure within weeks. And no, you don't need to go to Okinawa to benefit. You just need your oven and about 45 minutes. The second carb is one that's been quietly keeping people healthy across the Mediterranean for centuries: barley. While everyone talks about quinoa and oats, barley is the unsung hero and a powerful one. It's one of the highest natural sources of beta-glucan, a type of fiber that acts like a sponge for cholesterol, pulling it out of your body before it can damage your arteries. But here's where it gets interesting for seniors. Beta-glucan also slows down glucose absorption, keeping your blood sugar levels steady, especially after meals. That means less energy crashes, fewer sugar cravings, and better metabolic function. Barley also contains selenium and magnesium, two nutrients vital for nerve function and muscle repair, things that supplements often miss because they're not always absorbed properly in pill form. I had a 78-year-old patient who struggled with leg cramps, low energy, and chronic constipation. She was taking magnesium supplements, but they weren't working. We added half a cup of cooked barley into her lunch every day in soup, as a side, even in cold salads, and within 10 days, her cramps eased, her digestion improved, and her energy came back. Food is medicine, especially when it's whole. And then there's the third carb, the one most people forget: legumes. Lentils, chickpeas, black beans, navy beans, take your pick. In every blue zone, beans are a daily staple. And it's not just because they're affordable. They're a perfect trifecta: high in fiber, rich in protein, and packed with resistant starch, a form of carbohydrate that feeds your microbiome while keeping insulin levels balanced. A landmark study from the National University of Singapore found that older adults who consumed legumes at least 4 times per week had a 22% lower risk of cognitive decline compared to those who ate them less frequently. That's not a supplement. That's not a drug. That's a bowl of lentil soup. Beans also help with muscle preservation. Yes, even without meat. They're rich in lysine, an amino acid that's key to tissue repair, and when combined with whole grains like brown rice or barley, they form a complete protein. For seniors who struggle with digestion or chewing meat, beans are gentle, affordable, and nutrient-dense. Let's talk real world for a second. A simple meal of black beans over brown rice, topped with avocado and a squeeze of lime. That's not just dinner. That's brain fuel. That's muscle food. That's steady energy without the crash. No sugar spike. No artificial powders. Just real food working in harmony with your aging body. And for those who are thinking, but beans make me bloated, there's a fix. Start with lentils or split mung beans. They're easier to digest. Soak them overnight. Cook them thoroughly with gut-friendly herbs like ginger, cumin, or fennel. And build up slowly. Your body adapts. Here's the bigger point. When you eat these kinds of carbs, sweet potatoes, barley, and legumes, you're not cheating. You're giving your body the fuel it was designed to run on. Your mitochondria, your muscle fibers, your neurons, they all prefer steady, complex, fiber-rich carbohydrates over processed protein bars or chalky vitamin pills. Supplements have their place. But when it comes to longevity, these humble foods outperform in ways that science is only beginning to understand. Because they don't just give you calories. They give you instructions, messages to reduce inflammation, repair tissue, balance hormones, and keep your metabolism humming. The next time you reach for a supplement bottle, ask yourself, have I given my body the food it actually recognizes? Because the truth is, most seniors are lacking nutrients. They're lacking absorption. And no capsule can replace what a warm bowl of real food delivers. So, now that you know what to eat, let's talk about when and how to eat it to unlock the full longevity boosting effect. Most seniors focus on what they're eating, but far fewer ask when. And yet, science is crystal clear. The timing of your meals can dramatically impact how your body uses carbohydrates, how much energy you have, and even how well your brain functions. Let's start with the morning. After a night of fasting, your body wakes up in a state of repair. Your blood sugar is at its most sensitive point. And your brain? It's craving fuel, not caffeine, not sugar, but steady, slow-burning energy. That's where the right carbs come in. When seniors start their day with a nutrient-rich carbohydrate, like a bowl of steel-cut oats topped with berries and walnuts or a slice of sprouted grain toast with avocado and egg, they're not just eating breakfast, they're fueling cognition. They're giving their brain the glucose it needs in a form that's steady, controlled, and paired with fiber and healthy fat. That combination prevents blood sugar spikes and crashes. And over time, it reduces inflammation and helps regulate insulin, one of the most powerful anti-aging hormones we have. Now, compare that to starting the day with just coffee and toast. Or worse, nothing at all. By 10 a.m., blood sugar drops, cortisol spikes, and mental clarity vanishes. You feel jittery, foggy, and irritable. That's not aging, that's bad fuel timing. I remember a 76-year-old woman who came into my clinic with constant afternoon fatigue. She wasn't diabetic. Her labs looked fine, but she skipped breakfast daily and relied on protein shakes around noon. We swapped in a warm morning bowl of lentils and greens over brown rice. Yes, for breakfast, and by week 2, her energy was stable all day. No crash, no fog, just better timing. Now let's talk about lunch. Midday is when your digestive fire is strongest. It's when your body is primed to process and absorb complex carbs most efficiently. That's why cultures in blue zones often make lunch their largest meal: a hearty stew of beans, a plate of roasted root vegetables, a bowl of barley or farro, often with olive oil and herbs. This kind of lunch doesn't make you sleepy, it gives you endurance. Because instead of fighting sugar crashes, your body gets the minerals, fiber, and energy it needs to stay active into the evening. Seniors who eat more during the day and less at night consistently show better metabolic health, better sleep, and fewer nighttime blood pressure spikes. And speaking of night, here's where things get critical. Late-night carbs, especially starchy or sugary ones, are one of the fastest ways to disrupt your circadian rhythm. When you eat a big bowl of pasta or a slice of cake close to bedtime, your insulin rises, your digestion kicks in, and your brain misses its chance to clean house. You don't sleep deeply. You don't recover. And over time, your body stores more fat, loses more muscle, and wakes up feeling less refreshed. But when seniors shift their carbs earlier in the morning and midday and keep dinner lighter, something amazing happens. Sleep deepens. Blood sugar stabilizes. Hormones reset. And the next day begins without the fog. Here's a simple rhythm I often recommend: carb-rich breakfast. Balanced, hearty lunch with fiber and protein. Light, early dinner like soup, greens, or a vegetable stir-fry. And yes, timing carbs this way doesn't just make you feel better. It extends lifespan. A major 2023 study out of the University of Navarra followed over 2,000 older adults and found that those who consumed most of their carbohydrates before 3 p.m. had lower rates of metabolic syndrome, reduced inflammation markers, and significantly better sleep quality. So no, it's not just what you eat. It's when you eat it. Because food doesn't work in a vacuum. It works in rhythm with your body. And the aging body needs rhythm, predictability, cycles that honor the way energy rises and falls through the day. Think of carbs like logs on a fire. Toss them in when the flames are high, and they'll burn clean, warm, and steady. Toss them in when the fire's dying, and you get smoke, soot, and heat in all the wrong places. Morning and midday carbs give you fuel. Evening carbs can take that fuel away. So let's make one thing clear. Carbs are not the enemy of longevity. Mistrust of carbs is. And the real threat is not rice, lentils, or oats. It's the processed, sugary imposters that snuck into your pantry and the belief that skipping food equals health. But the good news? You can reclaim your energy, your sleep, your strength, one well-timed plate at a time. And if you're still with me, the final piece of this puzzle is this. Not all carbs are created equal, and some of them act like medicine for your memory, your blood vessels, and even your bones. That's where we're heading next. Let's talk about the carbs nobody's marketing to you. The ones that don't sit in shiny boxes on grocery store shelves or get hyped on supplement blogs. I'm talking about the unglamorous, quietly powerful, deeply healing carbs, the kind that protect your brain and strengthen your bones without fanfare. And at the top of that list is a food most seniors walk right past: millet. Yes, millet, the tiny, golden grain that's been used for centuries in African, Indian, and Mediterranean cuisines. It's naturally gluten-free, easy to digest, and uniquely rich in magnesium, phosphorus, and silica, minerals that directly support bone density and cognitive clarity. But that's not all. Millet contains slow-digesting carbohydrates that feed your gut microbiome, and your gut is where over 90% of your serotonin is produced. That's your feel-good, stay-steady chemical. And when serotonin levels are balanced, not only do you sleep better, you also move more confidently and think more clearly. For seniors struggling with brain fog, brittle bones, or energy swings, millet can be a game changer. Try it in place of rice. Add it to soups. Or cook it like oatmeal for a warm, nutty breakfast. The flavor is mild. The texture is soft. And the effects? Subtle but powerful. Then there's buckwheat, another unsung hero. Despite its name, it's not wheat. It's a seed. And it's one of the richest natural sources of rutin, a plant compound that strengthens blood vessels and improves circulation, particularly in the brain and legs. As we age, microcirculation slows. Tiny vessels in the brain and extremities become less flexible. That's why seniors often feel cold, get dizzy when they stand up, or experience memory slips. But buckwheat, with its high rutin and magnesium content, helps protect those vessels and improve oxygen flow. One woman I worked with, 81 years old, began adding buckwheat groats to her breakfast 3 times a week, just half a cup with berries and almond milk. Within 2 months, her morning headache stopped. Her balance improved. And she told me, I don't feel stuck in the fog anymore. No pills. Just a bowl of grains her grandmother used to eat. The third forgotten carb? Chestnuts. Not peanuts. Not almonds. Chestnuts. They're lower in fat, higher in vitamin C than any other nut, and surprisingly rich in complex carbohydrates that release energy slowly throughout the day. Chestnuts also contain manganese, a trace mineral critical for collagen formation and bone strength, especially important for seniors with osteoporosis or joint pain. They're sweet, starchy, and versatile. Roast them, add them to soups, puree them into sauces, or even blend them into baked goods as flour. In Italy and Spain, chestnut flour has been used for centuries in bread and desserts, not just for taste, but for endurance. What all these foods have in common, millet, buckwheat, chestnuts, is that they're functional carbs. They don't just fill you up. They feed your systems. They speak your body's language. They balance blood sugar, reduce inflammation, protect your brain, and reinforce the structure of your bones. Most supplements don't do that. They offer fragments, isolated pieces. But food works in symphony. It delivers vitamins, minerals, fiber, polyphenol, and amino acids all at once in a form your body knows how to use. In one groundbreaking 2021 clinical trial in Spain, seniors who consumed the mix of traditional grains like millet and buckwheat daily experienced better scores on memory tests, faster walking speeds, and improved bone density compared to those on a conventional Western diet with supplements. Food beat the pills. Hands down. And you don't have to give up your favorites to make space for these. Just shift your plate. Swap refined bread for sprouted millet toast. Replace pasta once a week with buckwheat noodles. Snack on roasted chestnuts instead of crackers. Small switches. Big results. Because aging well doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It means doing what's natural, what's time-tested, and what your body was designed for. If you want to feel clearer, steadier, stronger, these forgotten carbs might just be your missing link. They don't come with marketing hype, but they come with history, healing, and hope. And now that we've talked about what to eat, when to eat, and even how to time your meals for optimal effect, there's just one final piece that makes all of this work: the why. Why this matters more than ever, and what happens if you start tomorrow. That's next. Here's what no supplement label will tell you. Your body is never asking for a pill. It's asking for a pattern, a rhythm, a signal that says, I'm safe, I'm supported, I can function at full capacity. And the moment you begin feeding it the right carbohydrates, not the ones that spike and crash, but the ones that build and balance, something remarkable begins to happen. By day 2, your gut starts responding. Digestion feels smoother. Bloating decreases. Meals leave you satisfied, not sluggish. By day 4, energy stabilizes. You don't wake up dragging. You don't need that second coffee just to function. Your blood sugar isn't playing ping pong behind the scenes. And by day 7, something deeper shifts. The fog begins to clear. Sleep becomes more restorative. You feel stronger when you walk. Your hands aren't trembling. Your legs don't ache the way they used to. You're remembering names faster. You're not reaching for the wall as you stand up. Not because you found a miracle cure, but because you gave your body what it's been quietly asking for all along, the real fuel it was designed to use. I've seen this happen to people in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s. People who thought their best years were behind them, only to find out that the best years begin when your cells are finally being nourished the right way. And if that's what can happen in just 7 days, imagine what's possible in 7 weeks. Or 7 months. Now here's the question no one asks. What if the thing we've been taught to avoid all our lives, carbs, is actually the one thing that keeps us alive longer, stronger, and clearer than ever before? You've been told to fear them. But what if embracing them the right way is how you finally feel like yourself again? Think about that. Because tomorrow morning, when you reach for breakfast, that choice might be the most powerful medicine your body has ever received. And what happens next? That's something you're going to have to feel for yourself.